Hey, how's it going? It's Grant with the Garden of Eater. Sorry for the delay. Thank you all for joining us. It has been a busy week. It just now started, but it's been a busy weekend also for us. We've been at the Florida State Fair setting up our tanks for the Aquarium Beautiful contest. It's a little aquascape aquarium contest. I don't want to say aquascape because they judge the overall appearance of the tank as well as the livestock, the fish, how everything is matured and whatnot. So it's a nice little local event, and we're lucky enough that our Florida State Fair puts it on for us. But don't worry, for those that are just here to see Shelby, she will be joining us. She's just fallen a little bit behind. She's got to go pick up the kids. When she gets back, she will be joining me. So uh, ask away whatever questions you have. How's it going, Jeff Kane, Benjamin, Passing Wind, Abstract Aquatics, Sibley Warrior, J Dub, Frank, Johnny Best, Tube Dog, Matt, and Dee Dee. First question, you think they're late because Grant had to stop for ice cream? Sadly, there's been no ice cream in my diet today. Maybe after the live stream, I'm not sure, but uh, it was mostly my fault, but half and half maybe. Somehow we both managed to make it all the way to the fair, and unpacked everything, got started in our tanks, and then I realized I didn't bring the isopods. And Shelby realized she didn't bring any of her fish or plants either. They were all in one bag. We had to go back to the house and grab that. But I kind of had to go back to the house anyways. This is kind of the reason why it's mostly my fault, is because I did have an aquascape where the tank itself was more expensive than anything I've really ever dealt with before. And I was really worried about not just cracking the tank, but scratching it at all. And what I wanted to do in that tank is two massive mountains and like a nice little crevice going in between the two of them. And I was worried about the weight with the big rocks. And I had an idea to super glue them to 2-liter bottles. And they floated at first. So I drilled a hole in it and filled it up with sand. And I got it to the point where it wasn't buoyant anymore, but it barely sunk. And the problem with the tank, once I set it up, was when the water was flowing, the filter was just too strong. So I needed a weaker filter anyways. So we had to run to the house. It was a rush job on the Biotoke tank because of it, but everything else got justice on the aquariums. All right, aquatic moose. Starting a new colony of black neos, about 5 total. Is it better to just have my best females with all the males, or should I add another 1 to 2 females whose color isn't as good to get it started? With all the males, no, you should pick out your best 1 to 2 males and then use all your females. Sorry if I'm a little bit choppy or rough or read that or answered it wrong, but between the last 3 days, I've never used more super glue in my life. Like I'll get to that if there's a dull moment and not too many questions, but I'm definitely out of it from the super glue alone. A little bit of lack of sleep, a little bit of exhaustion, maybe a slight bit of dehydration as well. But I'm hanging in there, and the super glue is definitely the biggest factor if I'm messing up here. All right. What's the smallest size container with shrimp we keep? Anyone? I have set up a 40-ounce aquarium. It's the PNW little micro tanks. They have a little built-in sump underneath them. And we've kept shrimp in there for quite some time. We actually set up a tank. Well, I set up a tank at the Florida State Fair just now, and I put some aquatic isopods in there. They're kind of shrimp if you want to get technical, but at the same time, I think you're referring to like the dwarf shrimp, like the Neocaridina and stuff like that. But I do take a picture before we set up the tank, and yeah, that's a 40-ounce aquarium, and I try to do my best to make it look like a 40-gallon tank. Um, do I recommend keeping them in that long term? No. Do I recommend trying to breed shrimp in that tank? No. But if you want a little nice desktop tank and you can't keep anything else really better than shrimp in that aquarium, so just not great for breeding. All right. And then I'm listening to Australian Crawl in a car on my phone. Well, I saw Australia, so I brought up that comment, and has nothing to pertain to what I thought it would. But next week, we're also getting ready because we have a guest coming all the way from Australia. We got Nick Mann from Fish Keeping Simple. Really looking forward to that. Orange Eye, there's a lot going on right there. I don't think that was meant for me to read. I apologize. I'm new to this, clearly. Shelby's the one that usually reads all of the questions, brings everything up. Scotty asked what you cooking, Rachel, but other than that, I don't see any more questions. All right. Matt asked, where is your wife? Did you do something to her, Florida man? No, she will be here shortly. I probably didn't get to that answer before I read it, or I'm not even talking right. I told you this is super glue. I already answered this probably before I got to it. But yeah, she's grabbing the kids. She'll be here shortly. Saw something today that the Shadow Mizuras and Shadow Pandas come from crossing Blue Bolts and Black King Kongs. Which shrimp is more desired, Mizura or Panda? It's really that the Blue Bolts are what created everything. And then once you cross them back, you kind of get a mix of Black King Kongs and Shadow Pandas were just out of that. So you're not really crossing anything from Blue Bolts and Black King Kongs to get Shadow Pandas. They're already in the genetics. But yeah, if you want to get more Shadow Pandas out of a BKK colony, you could use the Blue Bolts to help out for sure. But the Mizuras aren't really as popular, but like not as many people breed them. So I think they could definitely be a little bit more popular and in more demand if they were more well known. The pandas are just, a lot more common. So therefore they're a little bit in more demand, if you ask me. But you can keep both of them in the same tank, and all three: the Blue Bolts, the Black King Kongs, the Mizuras, the Pandas, and they'll just breed one another. So you're not going to get any kind of oddballs or anything that you have to cull out of there. So they make for great little Skittles tanks. You can throw some Red King Kongs in the mix too. And yeah, Jeff Kane said, that's why we're here. So I probably answered that perfect timing when Matt asked that question. So, do you have trouble cycling when pH is 5? I am 9 weeks in and still no nitrates or nitrites or nitrates. I always want to say snails when I read those or want to refer to those. So I don't really worry about the cycle too much. After 30 days and the biofilm's in there, I just send it. And as long as there's no ammonia in the tank, I'm not worried about it. So, and if there's no nitrites or nitrates, then, you should be good enough for the shrimp to survive and they're happy. I'm more worried about stable pH and biofilm in the aquariums. That's why we run it for 30 days. There's so many shrimp breeders that don't even cycle their aquariums because of the life cycle of the soil is so low. They're like, if you're going to cycle it for 30 to 60 days, you've ruined, 1/20th of the life of the soil. Ice cream withdrawals is the excuse. Yeah. How's it going, Malcolm Reynolds? Excited that Aquashella will be going to Chicago again this year. Benjamin Peters with a filter question. Do you have a way to refresh the air collars on the double sponges you use? Or do you just throw them out and start a new one? So we take them and blast them out with an air compressor if it gets really bad. But for the most part, if we just take it out to the hose and you clog one end, and you just shove the other end right onto the spigot and then blast it on full blast, you'll just jet water right through the collar of the sponge filter. So that would be probably my best advice for you on those. We don't really have to like buy new ones until you try and take off the airline and it breaks the little connection piece. Besides that, the filters are pretty. I wouldn't say like lifetime use, but I've been using some for 10 years nonstop and haven't had to replace them. SD Shrimp, how's it going? Have you ever used Seacom, Seacom, Seachem Equilibrium in place of B Shrimp Plus? Yes, we have in two of the tanks up there. And I didn't really like the results. I didn't get good breeding out of raccoon tigers until a couple months in, and even so, it's not really as good as the other shrimp that we've been using, or the shrimp minerals that we've been using. And the other tank was the orange-eyed red tigers, and they never bred or did really well for us at all in there. So I've since switched over those tanks to the cobalt minerals that came out to try those out and see if they did do anything different with those aquariums. But we ran two tanks completely all Seachem products, and they just didn't produce the results that I was hoping they would. And I really wanted good results out of them because it's so simple for you to just go to Petco and buy the Seachem products and set up your shrimp tank. So, so far the minerals I would get from somewhere else. The Aquavitro soil I think is still kicking after a year. But how much longer are we going to get out of it? That's the question on whether or not it's worth it. But it is something you can get from Petco, so it is very convenient and nice. But there's Fluval and other products that are making their way in the door now, so you have options. That's another great thing. Heather, what kind of rocks do you recommend that doesn't mess with the pH, and etc.? So I love Dragonstone, but as I'm saying this, Mimic is probably going, but I had issues. And that's one person where I heard where the TDS was creeping up. I don't know if I recall in this situation that the pH was affected by that. Mimic, if you're in chat and you can comment on that. However, I think that Dragonstone, if you get it washed well enough, it shouldn't mess with any of the parameters at all. But getting the Dragonstone rinsed off is a task all on its own. It's made of clay. It breaks really easily, and every little nook and cranny is jam-packed with this little mud clay. So getting it all cleaned out is quite the task, but I recommend that the most. Riverstone is great, the little river rocks, the round rocks. And then other than that, you've got to be very careful because there's a lot of knockoff rocks out there. And the best way is to buy a sample rock, bring it home, and test it with a little bit of vinegar. And if you scratch it, put the vinegar on it, and you get bubbling, then it's going to mess with the parameters. If there's no bubbling, then you should be good to use that rock, and it's inert. And good to go. So, Dragonstone, hopefully, you clean it enough, won't do any harm. The best thing to use in Caridina tanks, though, is wood. And technically, petrified wood isn't a rock, but it has very rock-like features to it. And it'd be a good substitute as well. And it's gorgeous. I'm probably going to bring out one of the old petrified woodscapes for one of our little turtles while Nick is here. Give him a little upgrade since our counters are empty because all of those tanks are at the Florida State Fair. All right, Coro, Grant, what's your favorite saltwater shrimp? I know they're frequently tough to breed for the business, but are there any just like personality? The sexy shrimp are definitely ones that are bred in captivity enough that they'd be worth it, and I like them as personality and look wise. They're some of the coolest looking shrimp out there. So they'd probably be my favorite. If I were to get into saltwater shrimp, they'd probably be the ones I dive into first. And then maybe the coral banded shrimp are always going to be kind of close to my heart, since they are one of the shrimp that probably got me into the whole invertebrate scene overall. When I was a kid in Hawaii, we'd be at the docks at night, and my parents would be at the yacht club. Friday night race would, afterwards there's a little party, and all the kids would be fishing the docks and stuff like that, and there'd be coral banded shrimp all over the reef on the dock and on the seawalls and stuff like that. So those two shrimp be a close tie. I know there's also peppermint shrimp that have been bred in captivity before also. So the only thing is those are $3 shrimp, so it's not like worth all the effort to go into. And then I think Lucas Bretts told me that the fire coral shrimp, or I don't know their name, but the fire reds basically, they're a little bit bigger than a red cherry for sure. White antenna and like some white dots on the face. They're like $60 depending on where you are. He said they're asexual, so they can just produce young on their own. But I didn't do research, and I might have heard him wrong. I don't remember. All right. Any questions? Sorry, I'm scrolling. I'm horrible at this. I talk too much without looking up the next question. So, are you guys going to be at the Aquatic Expo in Charlotte this year? I believe so. We have to pay the invoice, I think, by the 7th. We reserved the spot, and there was just one thing going on with the house that I wasn't sure if we would be able to make it or not. And since we have insurance and everything is a go moving forward, I believe we're going to that show. It's only a 1-day show, so I don't even know if we're going to stay for an extra day or not, because we've got Aqua Expo in Louisiana the following week. So I have 2 questions. Do you ship dry goods to Canada? No, we do not. I'm sorry. Shipping is just super expensive, and I believe like Fish Room Fever probably has, or Shrimp Fever. I wanted to say Fish Room Fever because that's James's channel, but Shrimp Fever probably has everything dry good related that we have, and it would be cheaper for you. And if I cross chocolate with fire red neos, what can I expect? Probably 9 out of 10 times you're going to end up with a wild type Neocaridina. Maybe 99 out of 100 times. So that's what I would expect. Some wild types, brown, clear, a little bit of spotting, and not too much coloration to them at all. Richard, how's it going? Grant, do you keep all your Caridina shrimp in 150 TDS? Currently, yes. Right now, we do, except for the, I guess they're Paracaridina. So, yeah, all the Caridina are at 150 TDS. I did lower the Super Princess Bees that are Paracaridina down to 110 because that was recommended to me. But, like, they didn't explode or breed any higher, so I think I might just move them back up to 150 and keep everything at that pace throughout the house. There was some shrimp where I was thinking about doing them a little bit higher TDS, like the calcios and the super crystals, but they're all exploding in 150 TDS now since I first started contemplating that. We have 4 tanks of calcios breeding and 5 tanks of super crystals. So I'm probably going to keep everything at 150 TDS. Shelby, however, when she sets up the fish room, I think she's going to be experimenting with a couple of different parameters, but I'm probably going to mix the water for that too, so that'll be fun. Do you know how to sneeze the mustache back on? You showed some talent last week. Oh, no. This is as fast as it can come back on. Just really lazy at shaving. So if I can figure out a way to make it into the content, it gives me an excuse to do something when I'm really lazy about it. Easy V Rider, how's it going? So I have a line of orange-eyed royal blue tigers, and the eyes aren't nearly as bright as the normal Orange Eyes Blue Tigers that I got from you. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Any input on this or any way to get better eye color? So yeah, eye color is going to be a little dependent on chitin. So if you don't have chitin in the diet, then this can have almost an effect on the shrimp where you'd have to remove the molts from the tank to really get it down, but you can change them from orange eye to silver eye if you just remove all the molts and remove chitin out of the diet completely. However, if you leave the molts and you increase chitin in their diet, the eye color should come back for you. But there are just certain lines, I think, where the eye colors are going to be more brilliant and vibrant. I do have some of the orange eyed cross with the hollow eyes that I just think are out another level up on the brightness, especially some of the neon orange ones. And also, some of the eyes are like a little bit bigger than the average orange eye blue tiger, too. So I think there is some genetics that go into the eye color, so you can select a breed for that as well. But the chitin should be an easy hack on that. And how true are your Rillies breeding? Well, about as true as any Rillies. No Rillies are going to throw, 100% true, solid coloration pattern where you've got coloration on the head, coloration on the tail, and different coloration in the body. And the problem is you're going to get solid of both colors. You're going to get reverse Rillies, and you're going to get blotchy stripes, all different kinds. So all Rillies breed and throw culls. Anybody that tells you they don't, they're lying to you. So, but the ones that we have, we're breeding for the blue body, and I'm quite happy with the color rate that we're getting right now. A lot less than our orange Rillies, and that's not saying much. Oh, that's for somebody else. How's it going, Spaghetti Nona? Yeah, Richard says, I've got a sponge filter over 25 years old, and I just replaced the sponge itself. Yeah, most of the time, like some of the sponges, like crawfish, we'll pick at the sponges and eat them almost. So I definitely have some sponges where I'll probably have to replace because of just wear and tear over time. But actually, them getting clogged or the housing themselves, I think could be actually until they dry rot and the little piece breaks off. That happens to me on both style of sponges. They hang on with the suction cups as well as the ones with the weighted filter on the bottom. Pulling the sponge filters, the airline off the filters is a pain. Do you use the small sponge filters or the big ones? We use the small ones for the 10 gallons, and we use the bigger ones for the 20s and larger tanks. I find the bigger ones have much better flow, and just figure more filtration is better. I think they just have more flow because they're rated to have more flow to power the bigger sponges, and I just don't think that they're needed. Overkill the bigger sponges is not going to do you wrong, but the we've tried this out and tried multiple sponges in the tanks, and still the tank with a single 10-gallon sponge filter did great. The thing with shrimp is they don't have that much bio load, so they're really not working that hard as a filtration system. The Samurai soil for a 10-gallon tank, how many or what size bottle is good enough for a 10-gallon tank? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say one of the larger tubs, because there is two sizes. So I think the smaller size might do a 10-gallon, and the bigger size might do two 10-gallon. But it really depends on how deep and thick you like your substrate. There are calculator or substrate calculators out there that will tell you exactly how much substrate you will need, and you won't have to rely on my memory. Most of the time, I just have leftover, and I'm using just to set up this many tanks, and I got an extra box than what I need, and I just don't remember how much I use for each one. Do you ever use crushed coral or agonite as substrate? We do for our Sulawesi and our Opaula, but I don't really use it for the Neocaridina, mostly because they're white substrates. There is a black argonite, but it's kind of like peppery. It's got some white speckles to it, so it's just not needed. There was a point in time where we used to use crushed oyster shells for our crawfish, but never for the Neocaridina or anything like that. It wouldn't be bad at all. And I actually we have some of our blue dreams in with our Sulawesi, so it's not too hard. It would be just fine with dry artificial live rock. And yeah, all of the live rock, limestone, holy rock, anything like that is going to hold up well. Have lots of little porous crevices and cracks and holes where biofilm and microorganisms can survive and thrive. I don't worry about the pH too much with the Neocaridina as long as it's stable, and the live rock and the crushed coral and all that is just going to help keep your pH stable. So it's not a bad option as a substrate at all. You can really use any kind of substrate with Neocaridina. That's the great thing about them. Grant having to read himself tonight, yeah, but I just saw light. I think Shelby might be home. So it's been 30 minutes almost. So they do live 15 minutes away. It's possible. With the Argonite cement options, I feel like you could build some really cool shrimp setups with them. Lots of nooks and crannies for the shrimp. Carib Sea actually came out with this product where it's like a not a glue but a cement. That's probably what you're talking about. And yeah, I wanted to use it for the scapes that we just did for the Florida State Fair, but I didn't have it in me. I was worried that I'd do something wrong. It wouldn't work in fresh water. It'd break down. So it's still got to test it out because the one that from Carib Sea is meant to be used with salt water. All right, almost pulled up passing winds comment. Glad I didn't. All right, Scotty Chattanooga Ed. Chattanooga Ed. Scotty replied to your message. Shelby is home though, so she'll save the day here shortly.
Watch you struggle the whole time.
Oh, it's been that bad, eh? Okay, who else heard him say that wrong? I'm pretty sure you were talking about when I said Seachem. Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, I'll tell you later. All right, here we go. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for,
Knock it off.
the lovely Miss Shelby K. Brown.
All right. Said hi to everyone, right?
I've been saying hi as they go down. I haven't said hi to Vibes. How you doing? Like, you're not going to know all these people. So if you just said hi as well, it's not going to be overkill.
I'm a mess. Johnny said, Grant, what substrate do you have in your Neo shrimp tanks?
There is a lot of Samurai soil. And then we have a lot of Eco Complete and a lot of pool sand, a lot of black diamond blasting sand, and a little bit of the brown naturalist sand. And I could say that because we have like 90 Neocaridina tanks. So we use it all, and it doesn't really matter. It's a preference thing. It's not going to increase the breeding amount of your shrimp whatsoever. I'm really due for a haircut, huh? I'm waiting.
Bugsy Craftworks said, what happens if you mix cherry and Bloody Mary shrimp? Wild type?
This is the one type of cross, just like the Blue Diamonds and Blue Dreams. If the outside color and phenotype is somewhat the same, chances are they're not going to throw wilds, but you're just going to end up with Bloody Mary or Red Cherry. Like, what do you even call them? Most people want to say Bloody Marys are this deep coloration, of tissue, pigment, and everything like that, or a shorter rostrum. It's all a myth. I can pull any kind of Bloody Mary and any kind of high grade fire red cherry out, and you wouldn't be able to tell me the difference. We can slice them down the middle and look at the tissue samples. They're going to be the same. And crossing them out, you basically get a mutt shrimp, and that's all the Bloody Mary is. So when somebody's selling Bloody Marys, they're just high grade red Neocaridina that come from mutt shrimp. So the whole hype behind them, I just don't get, because for the most part, from a breeder aspect, you'd want the pure fire red cherries rather than the offspring culls from the chocolates. You're getting bored. I had to get you back in it.
Welcome in, Guppy Beast. J-Dub
I haven't
said,
seen you at any of the meetings for a while. Hope you're doing all right.
You
better be at the next one next weekend. It's going to be big. He will be there in person, by the way. I forgot you're here. I'm sorry. I'm so used to it. 30 minutes
so
without you. It's just autopilot now.
J-Dub said the blue-green reel you posted today was fire. Hope you can get that line going. Sorry, I went from like 70 degrees. Now it's like feels like it's 90.
That's not a new line. That's a line that we've had for some time. You can actually check that video out on our channel when I got those shrimp from Elvis, who, by the way, is not in business anymore. I do not recommend going to purchase shrimp from him if you go and watch that video. I don't know what he's got going on. I hope he's doing all right, because he's a great kid. Knew him in person, great guy, but I think his family expectations for him were in a different route than shrimp breeding, which is sad. I know how that is.
And then, what's a dirt magnet? Yes, you got a dirt magnet.
Who?
Passing wind.
No.
Did I miss something?
Maybe ask somebody else.
Repeat questions. Jamie said, was there a reason why you chose the double sponges over a matte and filter?
Yeah, because they're cheap and they work just as good. We have 8 matte and filters in the garage that are not being used right now because they're annoying to get into the corners and glue everything down. And I want everything to be nice and uniform, the same, all functioning and working properly. And yeah, they were just more money. It was like $2 for the ones behind us, and they're not broken. I'm not trying to look for an improvement or anything like that. So it seems like we've got enough questions tonight. I don't need this list of stuff to keep me busy.
The house is a mess.
The house is a mess.
No, I love that one. It's bad. Sorry. Just what do you get when 2 aquascapers have to do several tanks? A messy house.
4 aquascapers, because our kids skate 2 tanks.
Yeah, they made it.
I skate 4 tanks, and Shelby skate 3 tanks.
So 9 tanks total.
And it looks like Aquashella in the middle of our house after the show.
It's crazy. It's bad. Tube Dog said, when you have to change the substrate, do you tear down the entire tank or remove the shrimp and suck the substrate out?
We have never had to change out the substrate. If we've changed out the substrate, it's because we wanted to do something different. So when we do this, there's several different ways of doing it, but trying to suck it out, I can't remember who watched one of Corey's videos, but we went to their house and they're like, no, we've watched Corey's video where he just sucked up all the substrate and this is going to be done in like 15 minutes. And it got clogged and then got clogged again and then got clogged. And then we were like, all right, dude, give me, my favorite thing is a dustpan. If you can get one of the dustpans with a good little rubber edge on the end, rubber lip, whatever you want to call it, and then just kind of use your hand and scrape it up and scoop it out of the tank. That is the best way to get any kind of substrate out. I don't care who you are. That's my method right there. And yeah, I'm sticking to it.
That's funny. So Chevy said, I like the Fiji pink Argonite. I've never noticed that it's pink. We have a full bag of this in the garage. This just looks like regular. I know I just picked it up today off the limestone to get my limestone out. That's crazy. It does have pink flakes in it. I've never
I'm
noticed
saving
that
for when we set up the
Rosa tank.
macro tank.
Oh, that'd be cool. And then
it would
shrimp.
work for the Rosa tank.
Yeah, it would look really pretty and like really work out. SD Shrimp said, "Are you a fan of the under gravel filter box setup?"
I am not a fan at all, to the point where I won't even try it. You really have to sell me on something these days in order for me to try it, because I've had people come from all over the place, and their mouth drops. This one guy from Germany was all sold that the Brightwell soil was the reason why our tanks had more babies than all their breeders and friends that he had over in Germany. And I don't know if it's the substrate. I don't know what it exactly is, but we're able to make a living off of selling shrimp. We breed our own Caridina. We don't import. We don't have to worry about changing our methods, because it works. I chased trying to figure out a better way to breed shrimp for like 5 or 6 years before this UGF filter box setup, and everything just kept leading back to my way. And even testing out all the different substrates that we got the pleasure of working out for over a year now, I'm still not going to spend my money on anything other than Brightwell. I can even buy Tropica and some of these other soils now wholesale at a much cheaper rate, and I don't want to use it. It's not going to produce the exact same results that we're getting tried and true every single colony that we pretty much throw into our Brightwell substrate, 150 TDS with GH only minerals from salty shrimp. Best bang for your buck. And the little tiny hang-on suction cup dual action sponge filter, double corrugated, double polycarbonated panel lids, and airline and a pump, and you're not going to get much better breeding results out of that. All you need is an RO setup and some good food. Am I forgetting anything? A little mossy moss to sprinkle into the tank.
Always moss, though. Always anything, especially live plants. I've just seen more success with anything in a tank with live plants, just because it will help with ammonia spikes and things like that, unless you get a dying plant, and that doesn't help any. Tube Dog said, "Did something happen with Crypt Keeper? Why does he come on anymore? He has a job on Mondays. Unfortunately, he will not be able to join us."
No. He currently has 2 jobs.
Oh,
he had to run and set up or train a whole nother kitchen staff at another jail, or was trying to work 2 positions and finally landed a permanent, like, where he runs his own kitchen.
Nice.
And he's going to try to smuggle shrimp into the jail. So, like, he's doing the Lord's work right there.
Surpassing Wind said, "A dirt magnet is the original name of a sponge filter." So I was not saying anything wrong. Dirt magnet.
Yeah.
That's cool, right? I mean,
you learn something new every day.
It's really cool.
Nice.
Nancy B. Shelby, come read for him.
You're all natural. I expect you to go do your hair or something before you dove in.
A mess.
No, you look great. I think that's what I like about you.
See, Matt gave you a compliment. He said he's actually done a pretty good job, Shelby, but he's not you. Thanks.
I want to say I would have done better with a little less super glue in my diet.
We only had 3 hours of sleep last night too, and that was a lot my fault. I apologize. That was me just getting my tanks done. I was laughing. I don't know if Grant did tell you, but we were leaving the fair, and I decided to take a quick minute, 1 minute video of my tank, and it's not done. I was just I wanted to look at it for a minute, and I tell him, I was like, my tank looks like I made a giant Dragonstone boot, and I'm never gonna be able to not see that now. It's not on that one. It's the first one I took, and now I just can't unsee it. It doesn't look good, but when it all comes together, it actually looks pretty cool. But right now it just looks like a giant boot.
Das Boot.
The angle is just awful.
It's definitely
Awful.
a boot.
Yeah.
It's a boot.
It's hilarious. It's a novelty tank. It's just a fun one. So we don't have to be too serious. I did that at probably, I think I started that one at midnight and then pieced and glued all that together that fast. So, have you ever used granite blasting sand? It's pinkish black. No, we did the black granite blasting sand, but it wasn't pinkish. It was just black, and then it did have glass. And if the glass reflects off your light, it could give it a pinkish hue. But ours is the diamond black blasting sand. Because you got to be careful with some of them. They do have little issues with them. I can't remember which one it is now. It is a blasting sand. That'd be cool if it was pink, though. Johnny said, I saw your video using samurai soil and 10-gallon. How much and what size is suitable for 10-gallon Neo shrimp setup? For the samurai soil? Actually, I'll have him grab that real quick. We usually use like a half a container. I think they make smaller ones, and you can use 2 of the small. Oh, it's right in front of me. Hold on. All right. So, you can even see how much it is. So it's 9 pounds. We usually like use half of this for a 10-gallon. You could use more, but like, why waste it? The only reason you would want to use more is if you are going to root some like rooted plants, which we usually don't suggest. We just say like moss and throw it in. But like you could get away with just using half of these, which they make them in half the size, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it might be smaller than half of the size, though. It might be like a third of the size.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you don't need it. You could do like a very thin layer. So like, especially like.
Did I hit you? Sorry.
on a budget, you could always. Oh man, I hope that sound didn't come across. Sorry.
Oh, it did. Everybody's like, "Why, Shelby? Why?"
So you don't need much more than that. We usually do pretty thin layers in almost all Neo tanks, or just to like, if you know, like the Aqueon tanks, just to like the rim of them. Yeah, those are planted ones up there. That's why we did a little bit more than normal. So that's almost like 2 inches of substrate in some of those. Guppy V says, I want to go so bad, just can't get off.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Welcome in, Eric.
Oh, sick. Oh, so sick. Can't make it.
Every first Saturday of the month, you just happen to be sick.
Second Saturday, not first Saturday.
Oh,
No.
That's Tampa, isn't it?
No, that's Fort Myers is the first Saturday.
Oh.
Should I talk about this?
Outside and Aquatic says, who ships the best guppies? I want a new strain for my room. Either
J. Oliver Guppies just brought in a big import of guppies. They got to go through quarantine, but after that, you're going to have a great selection, and he does the guppies justice and takes good care of them. So,
and speaking of Guppy Beast, I absolutely love the guppies I've got off Guppy Beast. So my volcano guppies are awesome.
I don't know if Guppy Beast ships. I'm sorry.
I've seen videos of them shipping. You're not very good on the computer sometimes. What did you want to talk about?
Should I go through my list while you find questions?
Mm-hmm.
So at the state fair, both the kids set up a tank. Layla went all out, did a really nice cave Dragonstone layout. Jaden went half in and managed to mingle together a nice little woodscape. But if I had to judge it myself, I would give the win to Layla this year. And then I did a nano tank where I escaped that 40-ounce tank I showed earlier, and we put the aquatic isopods in there. And then I did a biotope scape with a palm frond, some jungle val, and some sirens, some ghost shrimp, and 2 American flagfish. And then I did I re-entered our tank that we have done, or I've entered this tank in the state fair at least 2 or 3 times now. I've brought it to Dallas Aquashella. It's definitely traveled, but it's my Dragonstone Scape. It's even one of our more popular shorts that we posted, and it kind of looks like the Gates of Mornia. Mordia, I don't know.
The movie you never watched.
And it's got like the spiked Dragonstone going up in the air. I entered that into the no planted tank category, and that is one of my favorite, easiest tanks to just move, and it still gives that wow effect. So I like bringing it along. The Nano took probably most of my time to put together. I think I spent like 3 days overall, not all at once, but just kind of piecing it together when I had free time. And then the planted tank is the one where I glued all the Dragonstone to the bottle, and we put some CPDs in that one, and hopefully the clarifier and everything will wrap that tank up, and it'll look really well. But the tank itself was like more expensive than most of the scapes we do, and one of the kids there, he must have been like not even 16 yet, but was interested in all the aquariums. You can see he's passionate about the hobby, but he overheard me say that to Bill, and he comes over and he's like, why? I just don't see it. So I explained to him like the clarity of the glass when you look through the side. The Aqueon tanks have 10% iron, so they look green when you look through the side. When you look through the side of the ADA tank, it's like ocean blue, clear, like it's velvety. It's not, you can't see any green iron in it at all. So it's nice.
Coro said, "How come nobody sells a matte and filter insert, like a plastic slot you can put on the matte and filter in, or acrylic panels to silicone in like sump baffle kits, and said like hold substrate in place, etc. when pull the mat in and out." So there was like we even have a tank like that.
No, we have we do. The same person that made the bag holder for our how to bag and pack shrimp made our mat and filters. Like we spent $60 on them. They were expensive, but you can pull the sponges out, and it has the substrate guard underneath. So yeah, they're just expensive.
Those people don't even make them anymore, though.
I don't know. Well, he got a job. He got his dream job at the aquarium, so
yeah.
He stopped doing 3D printing.
But a lot of 3D printer people will make something like that.
Yeah.
Durf Son said, "I joined Pasco Club a couple days ago, planning on being there this weekend. We'll see you then."
It's definitely a good one to make it out for your first one. You won't be disappointed.
For sure. Two Dogs said, "Removing the substrate using a wet dry vac after draining the water."
I would like use the wet dry vac and do the substrate first before all the water's out of there.
If you don't want it anymore, I just dump it outside. And then the earth.
You can scratch the tank, or it might be too heavy for them to lift it up.
Yeah.
Not everybody's like you, Shelby. Where they just go She-Hulk and just throw it outside.
One of these days when we get a cracked tank, that's what we should do. Is just make it look like it's a really big tank, and I just throw it outside like I'm mad at you.
We have like 2 of them at least.
And we've got like 6 broken tanks on the side. But we got to make it look like it's actually together.
No, like we got 2 cracked tanks at least that we could do that.
Thank you so much, Vibes Aquatics, for the $1.99 super chat. Said hashtag good times. Hashtag best stream of Monday night. Love y'all. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that, Vibes. I'm going to tell Bob Steamfine said that.
I absolutely love when people use hashtags, and I love saying it in person just to be super cringe to the younger associates at work. I'm always like, hashtag. They give me this cringe look. I love it.
I think Bob would be a good person to have come speak for the club.
What are you talking about?
Steamfine.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm having to talk more if you want.
So Shelby did 3 tanks. She did a really neat little boot tank that has a fairy sit on top and a little atomizer to like make a little mist effect. And then she did her famous sticks in the air tank with the plants. What?
You're so mean.
Why am I mean? You make this joke yourself.
It's okay for me to make fun of myself.
Yeah, but
It's
you
not
won't do
okay
it on the live stream, and the people want to hear the jokes. So
I
don't
know.
deprive the people of the jokes. And then she has her Biotope tank, which she says herself is the worst one she's ever done. She's super not proud of it at all whatsoever. But
The only cute thing is I got
better than
banana
mine.
plants in it this year.
better than mine. And Jenna would love what you did with the banana plants. Let me just say,
It's gonna be Jenna P's
She's
favorite
gonna love
steak.
banana plants after this tank. All right, no. If Shelby actually had effort and could have done
I
the
love
tank and put more work into it, maybe. But I don't think this is the tank that's gonna turn.
Normally,
Jenna
I
into
would
a
have a
banana
lot more
plant
time to
fan.
do aquascaping, but I did inventory at my store, and that's my job as an inventory manager. And like normally it's in like October, and they were like, "No, we're gonna do it early this year," and I'm like, "Of course, okay, no problem." And then it just happens to line up before the 2 busiest weeks of the month, and it's like, couldn't it just be a little bit later? And of course, I'm the one they have to rely on, so a little stressful. What?
Johnny Best asked Grant,
Oh.
what inert substrate you like the most for Neocaridina
You want me
shrimp?
to pick up this heavy thing
Yes,
again?
show it off. You're the oh, it's too heavy for you. Let me
It's a
hold
little
this.
heavy.
I got this.
It is. It's 9 pounds, but it feels heavier than 9 pounds. We're gonna weigh that. You gotta
So,
know if it's really 9 pounds.
This is
It's a
a
week.
light gray or brown, depending on if you're normal or weird. But it's definitely light gray. And then algae might grow on the top, and it might look a little brown.
It's gonna be another one of the blue and black dresses to white and blue.
But I'm telling you, that's gray. That's gray. I'm looking at gray right now. You can take a light on it. You can shine. You can do whatever
biggest
you want.
argument we have.
No,
In the
you take
tanks,
that
it
lid
looks
off. I'm
brown.
gonna shine a light on it. Put it. Is that not gray?
No.
I mean, it's a
not gray.
little brownish.
It's like
but
a gray
they
brown.
have
I
a
think that's our
brown.
problem.
They have a mixed like
It's gray
confetti
brown.
that's ugly. And I told to them, I'm like, listen, you got to change this. Separate them. Put the whites. And that's real. This sounds real bad, but the white substrate should go with its own. So I'm just gonna stop. But like, it was all mixed together, and
We
it's
have
just such
some
an
in there. You
eyesore.
should
It
get
looks
it.
so bad.
I think they still sell it.
It's like the equivalent to colored gravels,
So
but like they're
they
trying
were
to put it for aquascapers. And
What
it's-
they were trying to do was
Yeah,
make
they-
like peat gravel, how it has all the different colors. But what they did was a starch white, and then like a amber brown, and then
Gray.
like a
it's
dark.
that one. It's that
it's-
brown and
Yeah,
gray.
it looks black when it's with the rest of them. So
Yeah.
because the other one looks stupid brown.
Just say when you put it next to the color palette, you'll know.
I'm done with you. You can leave for the night. But
But
any of that's really good. I mean, that one just looks like the Caridina. So, like, people like that specific look and
It
style.
looks good.
I
It's
prefer
clean.
sand because I can put a lot more plants like crypts and
You know how
stuff.
dirty sand
But
is?
yeah, it
It's
gets
dirty.
really dirty really fast. So,
And then you can see the shrimp on it. It pops with your little sand. They get washed out. They're no good. They're no good.
Oh.
The samurai soil. It's expensive, but like, I like it.
SD Shrimp said, thanks for answering the questions, Grant and Shelby. Y'all are a big inspiration for my channel. Got to get back to work. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the support and hanging out with us.
Welcome in, Roughneck Redneck. Abstract said, Grant keeps ragging about huffing super glue. It was honestly bad. We had to have like every window in the house open and all the fans on because it was
and you
so
have to work
bad
faster
in the house.
because of it, because
Mhm.
it'll dry quicker. So yeah, it was a mess. There's so much super glue.
Welcome in. It's everywhere. Welcome in, Robert Irving from Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. Says, do you have the same pH in all your Caridina tanks?
Absolutely not, because this tank is older than this tank, and that tank is different substrate than this tank. We aim for the lowest pH possible and go from there. And they're all going to differentiate, but when they get to about 6.5 is when I switch them over to tiger shrimp, or I guess I would break them down if I didn't have tiger shrimp. But they all get turned into tigers or yellow King Kong tanks, basically.
Stephen P says, I have a 0% success rate with direct import guppies. Only USA bred live for me. I have known a lot of times imports are really tricky. You really got to have a good source. I know some people really do have good import sources. And like the biggest thing is salt is like the answer to everything with imports and anything that can have diseases. A lot of people try all these different medicines, but putting a little bit of salt in a tank really helps and goes a long way, gets them healthy. And then live foods, and then switch in and start doing flake in between.
If it makes you feel better, Stephen, I also have a 0% success rate with imports, but I haven't tried yet.
I just listen to people that complain about it.
I don't touch imports at all. Like I'd much rather prefer to buy homebred all day, anyways. Like if Jay Oliver bred out the guppies and had some really nice ones, I'd pick those over any imports that he had just brought in. So
JW Aquatic says, I need you guys to come scape my new 550 gallon when it arrives. Short drive north. That's pretty cool.
I mean, if it's on the way when we're heading up, we might be able to detour if there's enough ice cream involved.
You could always bribe this man with ice cream. Always. Welcome
Next time,
Jay
though,
Oliver.
in the contract, can't be SpongeBob ice cream truck.
Oh, man. Abstract said, how much flow is too much for shrimp?
I don't think there is such thing as too much flow for shrimp. I mean, pressure washer. Definitely don't want to do the pressure washer thing. But when it comes to an aquarium, you got to think these guys are like in high flow rivers and streams, and sometimes you see them suckers climb right up the overflows of the hang on the back. So I don't think too much flow is a thing. The problem is you get to a certain point where the intake is going to be sucking up so much power that them suckers will get stuck right to the intake. So
this guy, too much flow isn't a problem as it's a whirlpool of shrimp in the tiny tank.
They were fine.
They
just ended up in the bottom where you didn't want them.
It was so funny, poor shrimp. They were probably terrified for their lives for like that split second.
But fun fact, the PNW tanks, the pumps are adjustable. They don't have to go for a ride if you don't want.
They're very powerful. And we did not know.
The isopods are definitely going for a ride. I even watched one of them go by, and
they're probably having the time of their
Darmesh was like, "Oh yeah, that one looks like it's going for a ride." But
yeah, we find them in streams, so they like that flow. Coro said, Shelby, how long until you do a carnivorous plant setup? I forgot about this all the time. No, he's talking about today, in the tank.
You did one today.
Carnivorous outside a tank. That's not an aquatic carnivorous setup, which is what I've been wanting to do. Okay. I wanted to do a whole carnivorous tank.
But if you want to get technical, you did a carnivorous plant setup today. Yes. It was in the fairy tank that she set up.
Johnny Beast, thank you so much for the $2 super chat.
It's Johnny Best. He's the best.
Sorry.
He's not a beast.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Johnny Best. You're the best.
Travis Porter said, have you ever kept bamboo shrimp?
No, but my buddy Ruben over at Shrimp Pimpin' has some bamboo shrimp in his discus tank, and I've always wanted to do that, but I've never seen bamboo shrimp available since we've had the discus tank running with a nice high flow filter. So it's not something I'd be against. It's just they don't breed in captivity, so it's not something I really want to keep and have a whole tank dedicated to. What's so funny?
I'll read it in a minute. I'll read it now, sorry. Stephen P. said Jenna is packing magnets for members right now, but just yelled, I will not come in another room. They actually are really cute. They are. And then the leaves on the ones from Florida are actually like purple instead of like the white ones or white ones. Oh my gosh. The green ones you see just about everywhere, so they're really cool.
If somebody really wants to have fun at the next expo, bring banana plant stickers. Just saying. Just saying. It was a lot of fun to put stickers on the back of Ryan, and I could see by the end of the Keystone class, Jenna just having like 15 to 30 banana plant stickers.
Welcome in, Lady Diane said Grant has a mustache again. I like when he really doesn't have the mustache. I think it's so funny that people are always like, you need that mustache. I get it though. It is a little bit different, but I guess I'm just used to it. It's more annoying to get like poked in the face than it is to like not see it there. I don't know. Jay Oliver said, "What's the temperature's been there, Grant?"
It fluctuates. It depends on
erratic.
The day of the week. It might be 32 degrees at night and then a nice 60 degrees during the day, or it could be like 40 to 50 to 60 during the night and then 70 to 80 during the day. So they're all over the place. It's great half the week at least. And then the other half, I kind of don't want to get out of bed until 12. And then it warms up enough that I can get out of bed.
It's not been nice. I don't know what day that has
I'm out
been
of bed
nice.
by 12.
It's been cold, windy. It's been super windy this year. From what I know, it's from like the El Nino being a problem this year. But it's been the craziest when I had a pot blew over, just normal day. No storm, nothing. Just the pot blew over, and it's a heavy one. So it was really strange. And like our plywood on the front porch fell and blocked us in the house. We had to go through the garage to open and get out our front door. It's ridiculous. Zach said, besides the big price difference, what would you say are the differences between Shrimp Envy Food Sampler versus the Shrimp King Sampler Pack? Any other pros for Shrimp Envy over Shrimp King? Thanks.
So, I personally really like the Shrimp Envy line because of how rounded it is. You can read all the ingredients, you know what they are, and then on top of that, the price is the best bang for your buck on any line of foods out there. That being said, though, the foods are a little hard, and I really like the Shrimp King foods because of how well you were able to break them up. The Shrimp King Mineral and the Shrimp King Protein are two of my all-time favorite foods, but they're right next to the Shrimp Envy Growth and the Shrimp Envy Shell. For the price point, I'm okay with breaking them up a little bit harder pellet and using the Shrimp King or the Shrimp Envy over the Shrimp King.
Yeah. We used a lot of Shrimp King when we first got into the hobby because that was kind of like the go-to.
We were also getting it really cheap because the Shrimp King himself was doing the shows, and at the end of the show, they didn't want to bring anything home. So I'd go, hey, how much for the entire booth of foods? And we'd go home with a good deal. But the contract for the rights to be able to sell Denarily in the United States shifted, and the prices have gone up, and it's no longer feasible for us to buy. And I guess they have bulk containers, but I don't think the bulk containers are even as cheap as buying them bulk from Shrimp Envy. So.
I know this is really, really strange, but I don't remember the smell of the Shrimp King, but the Shrimp Envy is engraved in my nose, and I absolutely love all the smells. It's weird. They all smell really good, and normally when you open a pack of fish food or something, you're like, oh. None of the shrimp food smells bad. It's got a real good earthy smell.
No, Shrimp Envy's does.
No, yeah, right.
Yeah, I found some shrimp food that stinks.
Yeah, let's not talk about the
I'm actually worried about the garage because I fed that whole packet, the rest of it today.
Maybe you should go look at that.
I mean, I'll go look, but okay. I'm going to hold my nose.
Thank you so much, Planted Firmly, for the $4.99 super sticker. I don't have my phone up today. It's almost dead to see the sticker. That's so stupid we can't see it on our end. But Planted Firmly is a really good name, especially if you start selling plants. That's like on point.
And then that's
Abstract said, tips on using super glue.
I was
don't
going
get it
to
on
bring
your
this
fingers
up.
like Grant. I'm sorry.
I was
Do you
going to bring
use
this up.
activator, water, tissues, or cigarette filter techniques? Spill the beans. I want to brag about huffing glue too.
All right, so Shelby, if you can bring up the activator super glue combo that we just bought on Amazon,
So
which
much
would
work.
be, I thought you just bring it up on your phone, but pretty much the activator is going to be the best way to put together something and make sure it's sealed. But I find the activator and using the glue combination together, you tend to clog up your super glue a lot more. So I try to use the activator as little as possible. If I can go through and glue several things without using it, I definitely take advantage of that. But there's some spots where you can't really get away without using the activator. So it's definitely a key thing to have. But that can of activator is going to last you way longer than that thing of super glue is going to. So we had one can of activator last us for like 2, 3, 4 years until somebody smushed it into the bin and the entire thing dumped out. So when you need to replace the glue, that glue is also the best glue I think I've used. But in this last 3 days, I've learned more about super glue than I ever have. Hands down, the super glue that you can get from Gorilla Glue, and you got to be careful because they have just normal Gorilla Glue. That you don't want that. You got to have the Gorilla Glue super glue. Most bang for your buck. It's going to have a good, decent sized bottle, and I think it's like almost the same exact stuff as that brand that we just showed you right there on Amazon. So if you need super glue for your aquarium and you have to have it right now, the dollar store usually has the Gorilla Glue super glue. So that's the one I would recommend, and you just got to be quick with it. The cigarette filters are great, but like order them on Amazon. Don't go to your smoke shop because they've all switched over to plastic and cardboard filters. They're not the cotton cigarette filters anymore. Some stores will still have them, but like Shelby went to 3 stores the other day and they didn't have them, and I eventually found the box in the garage, and she was able to use the ones we already had. But
I was using Q-tips in a pinch.
you can use
They were
Q-tips in a
not great.
pinch. Yeah.
But they work somewhat, not as good because they don't bend as much as a cigarette filter, so it's not as good. But you want to like layer cigarette filter with like glue the cigarette filter and glue on it, and then hit it with the activator, and then it crisp up, and it actually like you'll see these little fumes. It crackles a little bit, and that's what we're talking about. Those fumes are very toxic, and man, it definitely felt like it killed some brain cells this week.
The activator also puts off some fumes, so you're getting it from both.
It's awful.
And then I also find a huge advantage of having a liquid and a gel super glue. There's a difference. One's runny, one kind of sits there. So if you're trying to glue something on a vertical surface and you don't want that super glue to run all the way down to the floor, the gel works awesome. So you're able to stick a rock or the moss up onto the surface that way. But the liquid is great. At the same time, if you're building a wall from the bottom up, that liquid is going to creep down into the back of all the other pieces that you didn't get. So I like having both of them when I'm working along. And then stay away from the ones where you have to like pinch the sides. It's super great and effective.
They're
And
a scam. I swear you only get a little bit out of them.
It gets to a point where you have to squeeze them so hard, and then it's like not as accurate as you want because you're using the death grip to try and get it to work. And then another thing is they sell the little tips that you can put on to the super glue containers so you can get a more accurate, smaller little dabs and work into those fine nooks and crannies. So there's that. We found that after we did the whole scape, and I was so upset. It was on the floor in the garage, not in any of the boxes, just underneath the chair.
Yeah, it It must have
So
just
mad.
fell. Oh, Planted Firmly said thank you for your amazing information. Thank you for being here.
Well, I also want to say thank you to everybody watching because we hit 7K subs, and we just not that long ago hit 6K. So we're going to do a little giveaway tonight. Hashtag.
It was 7K.
Did you already start it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so that's what's going on.
Hashtag 7K.
And the number 7K. And so we're going to give away 2 $25 gift cards. If we can continue to gain subs the way we are, then there's no point in really doing big, massive giveaways every 1,000. Then the whole, like every 3 or 4 streams will be giveaway streams. And I don't want the content and information to get lost. So I'll probably wait until 10K to do like a huge giveaway celebration thing. And then after 10K, we'll do like 25 and then 50 and bigger numbers. But really appreciate all the support. If it's your first time watching us, thank you. Drop a comment. Let us know how you found out about us.
Abstract said, have you tried Oliver Knott's food, and is it available in the U.S.? No,
So
we've been wanting to.
We have not. I do know that Corey said one of the foods will be, and I think Corey at Aquarium Co-op has exclusive rights to the food. So they're going to be the only ones selling it. And I think the first one just passed customs, so they should have it out in like the next 3 weeks, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to try that unicorn forever now.
It might be different because they said Oliver Knott's food, and that other food was Chris, but I think it's Chris and Oliver's food.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not sure. Professor Fish Tank said, I use Shrimp King and Sarah shrimp food, so that's another food I have used once in a while. They make these like little tablets that are pretty cool, but I like feeding those more to like Corys and Pluckos. They seem to really
But the Malaysian trumpet snails pile onto that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Snails love it. It's like a mix of stuff together, so I do like that for sure. I actually don't know what it's made for. It's got like a German ram on it.
Oh, I thought it has a Cory on the front.
It's a blue German ram, which I think is like a base logo they just use. There's a lot of good foods. I mean, there's even foods at the grocery store you can use for shrimp. They're pretty simple, but as far as something where we are feeding multiple tanks and we want to make sure that they're getting the nutrition, and I'm not having to go out, think of all these things, or remember that I fed this tank green beans or cucumbers and I got to make sure that they ate it all. Like, I would 100% be less worried if I fed them just normal shrimp food that's already made. So food can cause a lot more issues really fast.
There's also one of the bigger time breeders. He's been feeding banana. Cut up banana slices.
Do not tell people to do that.
But it's a breeder that you trust. Just go small. I'm just saying.
I would never do that. Do not do that. Do not do that.
I was very tempted.
Don't even bring that up on the live stream.
When Layla didn't eat her bananas, I was very tempted to give it a try.
I've seen people wipe out entire tanks. Now,
they put a whole banana in the tank.
No, not always. I've seen people put part of a banana peel in there, and there's so much potassium, and it's not good.
Just the actual little thin slice of banana. Try it.
Don't even mention it. Sibley said, have you guys ever experimented with spinach or spirulina? I was curious if it's worth feeding it, whether it's raw, tablet, or powder form.
Yeah, so the spinach is great. I'm not a big fan of blanching and cooking things, but there's plenty of spinach tabs. Vin just came out with one that would be great. For us, it's more about the most bang for your buck, and a lot of the spinach foods, they're a little bit more expensive than what I think they should be. The spirulina, the Caridina shrimp don't seem to eat it nearly as much as the Neocaridina do, but we just recently got a huge 5-gallon bucket of the spirulina flake from Zoomed, and we'll be feeding that to our Neocaridina outside once it starts warming up.
Yeah, I feed it to my fish tanks, which some of them have Neos at the bottom. Seems to do really great. I would say that some of your shrimp could have like a green hue. If you feed a lot of the spirulina or algae wafers, you could get different hues on them, especially if they're like clear shrimp. It's real strange. Even wilds will have like a green hue to them. Stephen P said, just look for that word on the label. I wonder if anyone actually knows how to pronounce that. Cyanoacrylate. No.
Cyanoclylate.
Oh, I think you got closer. We're the worst people to try to do that right now. If I hear it, I'll be able to pronounce it. But Passman said super glue was originally invented for the skin to be handcuffs and to help sew up wounds, which is why it's inert and safe to use on aquariums. I knew about the wounds, but handcuffs. That's crazy. You always come up with some crazy stuff sometimes. So Dee said,
earlier there was a comment that I did not bring up. I almost clicked on it. I'm like,
it's always ones I got.
Glad I didn't click on that
one. Dee said, can you use cotton balls shaped up like a filter?
It wasn't even that bad. It just would have thrown me way off.
So I actually did research this the other day because I was in a panic not being able to find my cigarette filters. So the difference between the cotton balls and the cigarette filters is that the cigarette filters actually have plastic in them. Lovely, right? You're always inhaling some sort of plastic in this world. But they have a type of plastic, microplastic in them that helps bond better than actual cotton would. But like I used the Q-tips and it seemed to react just the same. So maybe because are those plastic?
Plastic inside the Q-tip.
Yeah,
maybe.
so that makes sense. But yeah, that's the only difference. But people have said they use cotton balls before. I've seen people use them at shows like where they rip it up and they ball it up and use it.
I'm pretty sure I used toilet paper to do my one skate where it was for the fair, where I did the ring around the top.
I don't know. Stephen P. said, did you all use that low melting point moldable plastic material at all?
No, we did not, but that's just because the situations that I was using didn't have that as an application. Yeah, the thermoplastic would not have worked for the little tiny nano tank, and then also the thermoplastics don't work on smooth surfaces, so gluing the rocks to the bottle wouldn't have been the best thing. The wood is like the best thing for thermoplastic. It just
it works in certain situations. So I did just actually take apart the original tank where I've used the most thermoplastics ever, which that tank has been set up forever, and I can't believe I tore it down. But it was its time to go. Okay, and it almost all of it was done for, and it had been sitting there for years, but it lasted forever. But yeah.
And it's reusable. I was pulling it off of wood and rocks and stuff when I was digging through all the substrates.
Planted Firmly says, thank you, Shelby. I'm actually working in horticulture, so the name is quite fitting. That's cool. I have some orange-eyed blue tigers and some ocean blues. Oh, is that a Caridina?
Yeah.
That's confusing. They named the new Neo Caridina
That's what I hate. And then they come out with another one.
That? So if I crossed, would I be able to achieve a blue pinto?
Yeah, you can actually make blue pintos that way, but blue pintos is one of those things where you almost want to go for black pinto with blue stripes instead of a full blue pinto, because your pigments are low grade if the black is blue on that ratio. But you have the Tai B and the tiger there to make the pinto. So
that would be cool. A blue fancy tigers would be so dope.
You're kind of taking the long route. You could just take the ocean blues and cross them with a pinto shrimp and get there a lot quicker. Any pinto.
Abstract says, so you're telling me you can use any super glue because in the woodworking world it comes in black and brown. I've seen people use that.
I don't know.
I don't know its holding power compared because the color, but I don't think anything's wrong with the color agent. I mean, we use color agents in epoxy, so I don't see anything wrong with it as long as it's got that same name to it,
I
which
think
is
it
what
might be a
Steven put up
different
there.
chemical compound because it doesn't have. They don't add dyes to it. It's just whatever they use makes it so it bonds the wood better. Where the super glue at stores is like an all universal. It'll work for plastic, skin.
What is it with the skin? It's so weird.
It's just on topic.
It's lotionless. I have not read. If you're just joining us, don't forget hashtag 7K for the giveaway. When is the 10K giveaway? End of February?
I don't think that is a possibility, but probably like
I can't believe we made it to 7K. It's like going so fast now. It's ridiculous. He just keeps updating me every day. It's driving me crazy. Cora said, what about banana peels? No, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, don't add banana peels to your tank.
I'm feeding bananas to all my shrimp now. Seriously, it stresses me out because there's people that will recommend it. Or like, there's those people on the fish forums and all the shrimp forums, and they're like, well, I do it. It's okay. And I'm like, well, I mean, a lot of us have done it and it's not okay. Our shrimp have died.
You didn't
so don't
tell
do
us
that.
You had a 75-gallon aquarium and you just used a tiny piece of banana, And then the person reads it and has a 5-gallon tank and uses half a banana.
There's no realistic reason for a banana to be fed to a shrimp. No nutrition, like
it's got potassium.
Yeah, but do shrimp need potassium? Do you know if shrimp? I doubt they do.
I'm not a nutritionist, let alone a nutritionist for shrimp.
Full banana in every tank. Got it.
There was a.
Today has been a full anxiety attack. Okay. It's been so stressful. I'm so done. Banana. It's great.
I'm a banana.
Coro said spirulina powder is what I feed the Opaula. The spirulina Zumed is affordable, but is mostly fish meal, not spirulina. Yeah, in most products. We have I don't know what else that's what I feed most of my fish. So I just can't remember the other company, but it's pure spirulina.
I'm sure fish meal is pretty good for shrimp too, though. So
my lady Diane, my dog also liked bananas. It was the weirdest thing. Pearl would come up, like when I'd open a banana, she'd be like right there, and I'm like, do you want this?
And she'd eat it so weird. She'd eat it like.
Can't even.
You don't.
Too good.
You don't want this? You sure I can have it?
Yeah.
And halfway through, she's like, "You still sure I can have it?" Like,
yeah. Chris says, "Have you tried the Shrimp King Biotase?" What?
I think so. It's like it's the bacteria E. It's the powder.
Oh,
we don't use any powdered foods anymore, so.
I just gotta make sure that's what it is. Probably tried it. No idea where it is.
Yeah, it's not even coming up.
The food. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the powdered.
That's like the one that looks like.
I swear it's a powder.
No, it's like the snowflake. No, it is the powder.
Yeah, it's a powder.
Yeah, I think we still have some.
No, that stuff's long gone. We got that like at our first international shrimp contest, and I just don't like using powdered foods.
Even though
6 more minutes, and then we'll do the first giveaway.
Zen is so nice to like put this out so that I could say it right. I tried. It's just not going together.
Cyanocrylate.
I don't know. Stephen P. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. What? I can't I can't say the last thing. That's why I always
Tuition
just
for
skip
shrimp
it.
Nutrition school.
Oh man, you said that so nice. Tuition for shrimp nutrition school.
Or were you saying aquatics?
I was trying to say that, but I would have
usually
stumbled
can't
on
pronounce
this
things
too.
this well. It
Yeah.
must be the super glue. I'm calling on super glue before all the live streams from now on. All right.
Oh, stop. Thank you so much. Now you're gonna have to go to nutrition school just for shrimp.
I'll give my $10 worth.
Thank you. That's so funny. I lost my spot now. Truck says, has anyone ever used Gorilla Glue but the polyethylene one that you can add water for to cure? I'm most likely have used it at one point. We have tried almost every single super glue, and some they're not as effective.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of them.
It still takes 5 minutes to cure, I believe. It's the brown one that we have.
Okay, I caught back up.
You're killing me, Holmes.
Can you read faster? Go ahead. Simply Warrior said, on the powder form of spinach or spirulina, I saw a video on YouTube where the guy took powder and mixed it in water, coated it on a skewer, I think, and let it dry and fed it. That's what the lollipops are. Yeah. So you could do that. That's what spirulina lollipops are. Is just that.
Just seems like a lot of work though, and I'm not sticking my hand in all the tanks to give them all a bamboo skewer. So I'd rather just sprinkle the powder into some water, mix it up, and then take a turkey baster and in each tank. But I don't like powdered, so I'm not even going to do that.
Richard said that he'll give us a call on Friday before he comes up.
Looking forward to it.
Sorry.
You read Matt's home.
Yeah.
Matt, you're a funny guy. You're funny.
Carl said, Shelby, I don't think you understand how often my shrimp get Charlie horses at night. What if they cramp up during and molting? I wonder, honestly. We don't know. That'd be crazy. What if it's like super painful, like every time they molt? You know, you should get a video of one molting and it's just like screaming bloody murder until it like gets out, and then it's just like, I'm fine.
Should have had a banana,
fine.
and that's the end of the commercial.
Stop.
That's what she's referring to, is because the shrimp cramps. That's why she. I'm so sorry. I'm the one that even knows that too.
What's wrong with you? Richard said, I thought just dead, dry banana leaves were good for shrimp.
But there's like no nutritional value. They're breaking down and making biofilm.
One banana per gallon or half gallon. Sorry.
Back in the day, Han Tron used to sell banana leaves, and you'd buy them off of us. And I'd just go to take my banana leaves out back and then cut them up and then tie them into knots and then sell them to Han.
Fishion says, does anyone else feed stinging nettle to your shrimp? Yeah,
it's one of my favorite foods to feed shrimp, but I like it in petal form. Petals.
What time did you say we were going to give that away?
In
2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Okay.
A minute 20 seconds to be exact.
Okay. Don't yell at me.
Yeah, I love stinging nettles. I just don't like the actual walking through the stinging nettles. That's not fun.
Yeah, and everyone says that the shrimp do love banana leaves, though.
But do they? Or do they love the biofilm that's on the banana leaves?
To me, banana leaves do break down faster than most leaves because it's a softer leaf than others. So that could be the biofilm in it.
I don't think they break down
and
that.
It's good.
That fast.
Oh yeah. I could put it in a tank next to a catappa leaf or any other leaf, and it's gonna break down.
Pretty,
or
but
like any
mulberry.
mango.
Let's do mulberry.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Got to be same size though. Obviously.
$80 bet.
Don't touch me.
$80 bet.
Zen
Shake
says.
on it. Shake on it.
spelled seashells and shrimp by the seashore. It'd be funny to set up like a little booth and just have that like handwritten really bad on the sign and
Your
literally
mulberry leaf is
sell
going down. You're trying to get
shrimp
out of this.
and shells. That would be hilarious. You're annoying me. I'm done. I don't have the I don't have the patience for you today.
What do you think's going first?
Yeah, I always
Spinach,
wonder who is picking stinging nettle.
nettles or the banana leaf. Are you
Which
still
one's
picking
going to
the
be
banana leaf?
like that's going to
Deteriorate faster.
I'm definitely going to pick the nettles break down way faster.
Okay, but then the spinach.
Because nettles are usually dried and then put in.
I think spinach, nettles, and mulberry are all on the same level.
We didn't say spinach though.
That
That was not part of it. No, you didn't.
I just did.
Okay, 2 seconds. Now you're changing your story.
No.
Oh, we're gonna do that giveaway because I'm done with you.
Somebody clip that and send it to me so I can prove to Shelby I said spinach more than once or 3 times now. Okay.
You didn't say spinach.
So let me clip it. I need that.
All right.
Spin the wheels, Shelby.
I'm trying to see. We got 55 entries. Let's go.
Last chance. You never said
last chance. I'm sorry.
Refresh it.
And then
Hashtag
refresh.
7K.
We'll get there one
Still
day.
only 55 entries.
Did it refresh? Okay.
I don't know. We'll never know.
I
now.
blinked, so.
Right off the ripper this time.
Awkward. Congratulations, Abstract.
Congratulations. You email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com and we will get you that $25 gift card. For those that didn't win, have no fear. We're going to give away another one here in 14 more minutes. Are they here, though?
They were here a minute ago. Hi, Annette. Welcome in. Definitely. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much, Zen, for dropping the email. Don't forget to email us.
Appreciate it.
All right. Stop sharing. And you can continue to enter if you weren't there. It's going to be the same one. We'll just rerun it. And what'd you say? How long?
An hour and 45 minutes into it. So 23 minutes from now.
So I feel like someone with the stinging nettle is using one of those like little weed pickers. That's what I imagine. You know, those little like 3 little prong things. Those
I
things
definitely
are cool.
think they just farm it because they use stinging nettle for a lot of different things.
It's really good for medicine.
And you just run through it with a tractor and it just picks it itself. I'm going to say that's how it's done.
Tube Dog said, what are y'all bringing to a Slide Out Aquafest?
I'm not quite sure because I don't think it's going to warm up enough for us to bring a lot of Neos, but we'll probably bring yellow, red, blue, Neocaridina, some tangerine tigers, yellow King Kong, some Caridina, but probably more plants and dry goods than shrimp. It's not really a show where we're expecting to make a lot of money. It's more of a show where we're just kind of going and expecting to see Steven and Jenna.
Pretty much. They normally direct themselves into my leg. You know what's funny is Grant failed to mention said thing called stinging nettles, and I've never heard of them a day in my life. And I wore flip-flops to the farm, and he did not let me know. So all of a sudden I felt my foot on fire, and I ran to him, and I was like, my foot is on fire, and I don't know what's going on. It's so strange. It just felt like there's ant bites everywhere, but I didn't step in an ant pile. He's like, oh, it was just a stinging nettle. And I'm like, what is that? I never heard of it a day in my life. It's not something I worry about because I grew up in a small yard, or my house that had the bigger yard. I don't think we had a single stinging nettle in that yard.
So I don't remember what happened at the farm, but I had no shoes on and I went to walk to the side of the house to turn on the hose, and I walked through stinging nettle with barefoot. So that was my experience.
Nice looking shirt, Grant. Keystone Clash.
Thought you'd say that. I actually put this shirt on. I was like, someone will say that about the shirt.
Horo Works said, so are you telling us you are the reason for the banana leaf shortage?
I guess we stopped producing them. If anybody wants banana leaves, place an order through the Garden of Eater, and I'll use banana leaves as stuffing for your
This stream
order.
is sponsored
You just need
by
to
Chiquita
put
Banana.
banana leaves in the notes, and I'll stuff it for you.
You know what? I'm getting really sleepy when Lincoln does things are like the funniest. I'm literally gonna fall asleep on this live stream.
Well, we don't have to go the whole 2 hours of the live stream. I just realized this is actually over our time limit. So in 10 more minutes, if you can catch up the chat, we'll just do the giveaway and we'll sign out of here.
Living Dream Aquatic says, are magnolia pods any good for shrimp tanks?
Not a big fan of these whole botanical thing. It makes a lot of mold in the tanks. They're not needed. Rather than adding pods, you could just feed your shrimp and not have to worry about the mess afterwards.
Yeah, they're messy. I've had several different pods that I've tried. They just get real messy real fast. And especially in shrimp tanks where you kind of want to vacuum up and you can't. And if you want to clean it, like you're going to vacuum babies and you could put the net at the other side, but like who wants to do all that work?
You should have
If
seen
anything, Catappa leaves are the best to me. Magnolia pods, save them for the isopods. They love them.
You should have seen my face though the first time. One of those big, hard, heavy, not heavy, but the bigger pods. They're solid. You can clap them together like coconuts, and after a couple months, they turn squishy. So if you're siphoning up some algae and you get too close of it, all of a sudden it just poofs and it's gone.
Easy rider. So what about plantains? Are plantains okay to feed the shrimp? Popeye has now entered the chat. Spinach. Since I grant you were here for the first half, you just hush now. That's funny.
Sen just said I could take the day off. Let's see.
Derf Son said, are you planning a stream with Nick?
Yes, we are. That will be the last thing that we kind of do with Nick before I drive him back to his family's place. So next week, Monday, we should be on time. Everything should go quite smooth. We'll be filming here the whole day and then jump on the live stream afterwards. So it is in the cards.
Welcome in, Aqua Bonita. Said, wow, I haven't caught you guys forever. Neos are doing great. Grant really called the green jades throwing orange. Seen quite a few. Awesome. Anyways, what is your go-to shrimp food that you feed the most?
It's going to be the Shrimp Envy Complete for sure.
We should just make a commercial for them. So every time someone asks us, it just pops up like, Shrimp Envy, try this.
We
Not
could.
Sponsored.
We could. We could easily set up one of those
It'd
things
be hilarious.
for sure.
I don't have time for that. I barely have time for sleep.
Well, Rob, if you're watching and you want to send us the next batch of food, Shelby will do the video for the food, Not sponsored, but did the work for the food.
Sibley said, I think that's exactly what sponsor is.
No, not always.
I think you sold me on snails. On my next order from you, would you recommend just trumpet snails for both Neo and Caridina, or should I do ram's horn for Neo to switch it up?
I like rams if you're looking for a little extra money on the side. Blue ram's horns, red ram's horns are a great way to make a little extra money. So,
but I don't think they're in Caridina tanks. I would not suggest ram's horns because they do prefer harder water. They just do a little bit better. They'll breed, but they just don't breed like crazy. Where
in the Caridina?
Yeah.
No, they just wither away and die.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
They're asking for a Caridina and Neo Caridina parameters. So I would say that trumpet snails do good in Caridina parameters, no problem, as long as you have a good diet for them. But the ram's horns do pretty bad. So those will go in the Neo's tanks, and I absolutely love them. If you can find pink ones, people just are like head over heels for those for sure. But we sell them all the time. People use them for other reptiles and things like that. There's a lot of reptiles that are strictly snail eaters, so you can always get rid of them. That's for sure.
But keep the browns out of the equation if you're going for the colors. One brown makes all browns.
Mile hog fishing. You just cut a hollow out a watermelon and keep shrimp in that. That would be actually hilarious. I wonder how fast it would go bad. It'd probably be really fast.
Yeah.
Okay. The last chance to enter in hashtag 7K before we make this drawing and head off for the night. Kuro said, how does Mineral Junkie compare to Shell Envy?
So I like the Mineral Junkie because it's squishier and soft, easy to break up. And I'd say the shrimp like both of them just the same. So it's more like a preference thing for myself. I also like having 2 mineral foods in the equation of our routine. So out of like 7 foods, I like 2 of them to be mineral, 2 of them to be protein, and then the other 4 to be either a complete or like a plant-based food.
This is like the worst stream. We got so many new followers for 7K, and I hope that wasn't their first time tuning in this week.
Yeah, it was
the worst stream ever.
Watch one of our other streams where I'm not on super glue.
Can you stop? Oh, man. Matt says, we appreciate you being here, Shelby. We're sorry he doesn't let you sleep. Never. I'm just kidding. It was me that stayed up all night.
I was the one
making
telling
sure
you,
that
you
was
should
right.
come to bed.
The night before, too, because I had inventory all day. It's such a long process. And not only that, I had to fight with the people that did our inventory. Of course, I have to be the one to like tell them and put them in the place. And I don't like doing that. It was not fun. So very stressful. Then I came home and decided that I needed to get like 1 tank done for sure. And it had already been like 10 o'clock and I was up till like 1. And then last night we only got 3 hours of sleep. So.
And I bet you do like your super glue, Matt.
Nathan said, oh snap, almost missed it. Thank you for joining us. We're about to do a drawing, hashtag 7K to get into it. Says also the new rack looks awesome. I just finished my fish room tonight with do-it-yourself racks. Cool. Awesome. Can't wait to see that. Yep. I'm super excited about the new rack. And Grant found out we might need to drill it in or strap it to something because we could knock it over really easily.
The fry rack
we're not so great.
It lost
graceful.
A little water. A little water.
So excited for whenever I get that actually going, but it's nice that it's actually up and running.
We need to drop a sponge filter in it to get it cycling.
Yeah, and some bacteria in there. But yes, I'm so thankful that Richard gave us that rack and we were able to just put it together. Like it just made life so nice. All right, let's do that.
Hashtag 7K, and we'll do this giveaway here for a $25 gift card.
Oh, hold on, let me make
Last
sure.
chance.
Gosh. Last time it like signed me out and everything. So I'm just making sure it didn't
Saw
do that.
a new order placed on the website. Am I gonna see banana leaf in the notes?
That is so funny. All right. Let's go.
There's in the notes.
Aqua Bonita.
Oh, congratulations, Aqua Bonita. Are you still here to claim your prize? I don't know if you were able to stay on.
And it's Zach. And Zach, I'm actually gonna shave the mustache for you and give you a little souvenir too. It was a joke. It was a total joke, Shelby. It was a joke.
You need to go to bed.
He's the one that noticed I
order.
sneezed off the mustache. So.
Yep, here. Congratulations. Make sure you email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com and we will get that out or get that code out to you. Goodness gracious. I will be here sometime today.
and Zach will also get you that sticker. I apologize. I know there's stickers that need to be sent out. We will try and get caught up on those once Nick leaves. This next week is going to be crazy trying to get all the tanks and everything like that. Most of the tanks look great, but there are like out of 45 tanks on this wall, there's 2 of them that are a little foggy. No matter how much we clean the sponge filters out, that bacteria bloom just keeps coming back. So
don't hype him up, Zach.
Did he say he'll take the mustache?
Yeah. Yes. Gross. Cora, if you were famous enough, that would make sense. But you're not. Just making sure you understand that.
No.
Cora said, do y'all have any macro algae or anything that is growing in the Opaula setup yet? Is that the plan? I see others offer the Chetamophora or with Opaula on eBay, etc. We have, I don't know what is ours called?
I don't.
Is that the cotton candy one? Because that one's awful.
Chetamophora or you said it wrong, and now I can't say it right. I swear I know how to say this. Oh,
I'm saying
I believe
it the
that's what
way,
we have.
okay?
If you can search that up, if that's the one we have. But if you place an order on the website and you obviously need to order Opaula, and you place like more than 20 Opaula, I will give you a good little clump of the mac. That's it, right?
It looks like that.
That's it. I don't know why I can't say it right now because Cheto. It's pronounced Cheto, all right? And yes, I can throw some of that into your tank or into your bag, but it's again, you need to let me know about it on the notes. So you got to watch the live stream to get in on these little tidbits of banana leaves and Cheto. Cheto is how it's called.
Chetamophoras.
You messed me up, and it's like Cladofora. If you just say it wrong, it'll throw me all off. I was just happy I knew Fungulus chrysotis and Bill Dennett at the place.
I wasn't listening. Matt said, "How do we get back hair?" He doesn't have any.
I have back hair. But Shelby would stop picking them all out every time she sees the back hair. She goes, "Oh no!" So yeah, I'd have a thick coat of back hair if Shelby didn't pick them all out.
Zach said, "You're famous, boy."
You hit it right.
I'm getting so loopy now.
Shelby on Super Glue is also the better Shelby.
Banana. Oh man, we need to air out the house for a little bit longer. All right.
Is that it?
Yes, I cannot do anymore.
We could do 12 more minutes and do our full 2 hours.
We could.
I thought you clicked. Are we still live? You clicked it, so I don't. All right. So
we are still live.
How are you doing? I think we should kill it. I don't see any more questions. You guys for joining us and staying with us. Appreciate the patience. And we'll see you next week where you won't have to deal with us because we'll have Nick here. And if it's that bad, I'll just let Nick run the stream and Shelby will pull up questions. No, you're going to pull a question still, regardless. So you guys.
Shelby laughing so hard she can't breathe. You'd have to have some good jokes for that one. But have a good night, everybody. And as Stephen P. said, bye.